him nubuwah and prophethood later on. It is important for us to know that there are many narrations doing their rounds which are incorrect. They have seeped through. And the reason why I constantly use the word Hebrew scriptures is to make it very clear to us that it is foreign to us. We have got it from Banu Israel. We've got it from the Jewish scriptures. Now, I have explained right at the beginning of this series that whenever we speak about Jewish scriptures, we believe as Muslimin that if the Quran confirms what the Jewish scriptures have, then we will believe it and accept it because the Quran has it. If the Quran rejects it, we reject it because the Quran has rejected it. And if the Quran is silent regarding matters of history that are brought to us by the Jewish or the Hebrew scriptures, known as Israeliyat, in that case we believe firmly, لا نصدق ولا نكذب. Which means we neither accept the information, nor do we reject it totally. We don't actually need it. Sadly, a lot of it is blasphemous. Blasphemous meaning they begin to say that Sulaiman alayhi salam did this, and the Prophet David committed that sin and this sin and so on. All this is blasphemy. I explained it a few days back. We as Muslimin believe that these people were the highest, the most pious, the best from the lot who were chosen by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and He would not choose a sinful man to be a messenger. So that is the difference. Now sadly, you will open some of our books of history, and you find some of the historians do not make mention of the fact that this is a Hebrew narration, this is a Jewish narration, this is Israeli riwayah, and they just make mention of it, and we start narrating it as folk tale to our people, and people begin to think, well, that was the sin of the Nabi. Allah protect us. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala safeguard us. So that was a very, very important point to raise. Some people said Talut, the king, became jealous of Dawood alayhi salam and plotted to kill him and so on. All that comes to us from a foreign source. We ask Allah to protect us and protect our books, and we ask Allah to grant us knowledge. Remember, there are certain things we don't need to know. We don't need to know. There is no point in knowing something that is inaccurate. If there is something that is shady, we can actually discount it completely, and we can excuse ourselves from even knowing it. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us the respect of all the Anbiya and all those whom He has chosen. Ameen. May Allah bless them all. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaks about how He gave Dawood alayhi salatu wassalam scriptures. Later on, as the king died, Dawood alayhi salam was appointed as a king. Subhanallah. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala...
That's the general approach of Shaykh al-Islam Taymiyyah in dealing with deviant sects and dealing with other religions. So he said, with each one of them there is truth and there is falsehood. And he says there is no one in this universe who combines all of evil together, not even shaitan. No one has all falsehood together. He got everything wrong. And there is no one who combines everything, as a person, who combines everything that is true. Except for the Muslim Ummah. In its totality, it has the truth within it. So you miss it, I miss it, someone else has it. So it will never be non-existent among the Ummah, the truth. So Shaykh al-Islam ibn Taymiyyah, then he says, so we agree with them, and we commend them on the truth that they have, and we disagree with them and have dissension and enmity with them based on the falsehood that they have. That's our approach. It's a differentiated approach. It's not, oh, everything you have is wrong. And this is why, for example, when we talk to people from any other religion, from Christianity, oh, it's all distorted. That's not the way to deal with it. That's not how Shaykh al-Islam Taymiyyah, when he talked about, when he had arguments with the Christians, and he had debates against the Christians, he actually pointed out certain things among Christianity, or within Christianity, that are actually truthful. Why? Because these are remains of revelation. You cannot deny them. And you cannot go against them. You cannot go against the truth, regardless of who it comes from. Do the Christians have some truth within what they say? They have. This is what remains from Isa ibn Maryam, alayhi salam. Do we Muslims reject everything? No, we don't reject everything. We take a differentiated approach. The truth that they have, we accept it. But the falsehood that they have, we reject it. It's not a blank statement. It's not black or white. We take this differentiated approach. So looking at these people, and I'm going to use this point, inshallah, if we live until tomorrow, to talk about what Islam has to offer, what Islamic spirituality has to offer in today's world. And I personally believe that Islamic spirituality offers us a few ways to deal with these challenging circumstances where Muslims are being targeted in the media and socially, and the Islamophobia or anti-Muslim spirit is actually growing and spreading and becoming more apparent. So I think Islamic spirituality has a very powerful way to handle this kind of wave. Very powerful way. So it could offer profound solutions. So when we look at these people or these traditions, we look at them, we say, okay, when they talk about tawakkul in that sense, this kind of trusting is what we have in tawakkul, that's true. But directing this trusting to what they call the universal mind, what they call, or Mother Nature, or this God that is in everything, we say that's false. What does this do? This builds bridges between us and other people, number one. And number two, it shows that we have our distinct spirituality and our principles that we're not willing to compromise on. Inshallah, tomorrow when I talk about this will show you how this will open windows of connection. And this will open ways for people to see Islam. Because what we have been doing recently in the last 200 years, we have been practicing Islam and offering Islam in a highly technical way. Highly technical way. And the halaqah of Friday, not yesterday but the week before, I quoted from Imam Ibn al-Jawzi, rahimahullah ta'ala, what he said about how being immersed in the sciences of Islam, the study, he specifically mentioned the study of fiqh and the study of hadith. He says this does not help your heart unless you mix with it what he calls muraqqiqatul qulub, the spiritual stuff, the spiritual discourse that we have within Islam. So he says if you study these sciences without exposing yourself to the heart softeners and the spiritual side of the Islamic argument, you're going to develop a hard heart. And you will be very intellectual and very judgmental in your approach. So looking at the life of the Prophet ﷺ, yes, he would teach, but he would teach in a personal way. Look at the private life of the Prophet ﷺ, that's what we're going to talk about today. Look at his private life. There's so many moments of spirituality where he stands most of the night praying to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in a state of complete absorbency in the prayer itself. He's absorbed completely in the prayer. The Prophet ﷺ, he's absorbed in dua. So when we deal with these traditions, we have to be careful. We have to take a differentiated approach. We see the truth that they have. Why? Because you cannot reject the truth when it comes, you say, when it comes from a different tradition, and it's true, and it's compatible with what Islam is, you reject it, and you say, I have this. Okay, you offer something that you have rejected, you have just rejected. It's a matter of consistency as well. So you cannot reject the concept of tawakkul when it comes from a non-Muslim. Okay, and then say, okay, and then Islam offers this, which is tawakkul. One thing that I'm going to share with you, although it's going to be controversial, and it's going to be challenging to some people. A lot of Muslim speakers and debaters used to challenge Christians and judge them when they said, you will see it when you believe it, right? They say you have to believe first, then you will see it, right? Some Christians, like born-again Christians, they will tell you, you have to believe in Jesus, then He will appear to you. Now this statement has falsehood and has truth in it. The truth is, when you believe in something, you'll actually start seeing it. When you believe in something, you will start seeing it. When you change your beliefs, your perception will change. And this is a fact, by the way. This is known everywhere. If you live in denial to something, your mind will cancel it without you being aware of it. Unconsciously, your mind will cancel it. Will cancel it completely. But once you believe in it, you'll start noticing it. So for us, we don't perceive reality as it is. This is something very well known, it's been documented, it's been experimented, and if you pay attention to your personal conduct, you're going to see it. I'm going to give you a very simple example. If you develop at one moment an interest to buy a car, I want to buy a car. Let's say, I want to buy a Nissan Rogue. I developed an interest in this car. I never had an interest in it, but someone told me it's a very good car, so I put my mind on Nissan Rogue, I want to buy it. So you Google it, or you go Kijiji, and you check these cars on offer, on sale. You look at Nissan Rogue, you look at different colors, what's the interior looks like, what's the engine, how is the maintenance, is there parts available in the market, and so on and so forth. So you look at all the aspects of the car. Now walk down the street, Shepherd Road East, Shepherd Avenue East. Walk down the street. All of a sudden you're going to see Nissan Rogue everywhere. I've never seen it before. Like, oh, the whole of Toronto is driving Nissan Rogue. Then you walk back home and you look outside, your neighbor has Nissan Rogue. Why, when I developed an interest in Nissan Rogue, now my neighbor has it? Why? Well, it's always been there, but you've never seen it. You develop an interest in some pair of shoes or some kind of shirt or pants. The moment you put your mind on them, you'll start noticing them everywhere. You say, how come? And if, like this happened to me a lot. At some stages I developed interest in certain subjects to study. So I wanted to study this, wanted to study that. Every time I developed an interest, for example, in some science or some kind of discipline, as soon as I start reading in it, all of a sudden, it starts appearing everywhere. Oh, this person has studied this. How come? I thought I was the only person thinking of this. Why, once you develop an interest in something, it starts popping up everywhere? That seems spooky, right? It freaks you out. Why, when I develop an interest in something, all of a sudden it starts popping up wherever I go? People, oh, my cousin is studying this. How come? I thought no one in my country even heard of this study. But now all of a sudden, the closest people to me have it. Why? Because once you put your awareness on something, your mind, your perception will start searching for it. You'll start seeing it. So, when you don't want to see something, your mind is going to cancel it, and you won't be aware of it. You won't be aware of it. Now, why do I say this? I say this because, again, the statement that some Muslim preachers used to use against Christians is, okay, you will see the truth once you believe in it. You have to believe first, and then once you believe, you're going to see it. Yes, if you believe in anything, you'll start seeing it, by the way. Even if it's not there. Even if it's not there. If you think the world is a bad place, convince yourself the world is or let's say someone betrays you, someone treats you bad, okay, and they abuse your trust, they take advantage of you, you become hurt, traumatized, and it injures your heart. What are you going to do? You'll develop this kind of defensiveness. So you're going to say the world is a vicious place, everyone is against you, everyone is plotting against you. You're going to look at people, you're going to search for signs of people who are trying to manipulate you and take advantage of you. Even the closest people to you. Even the close people to you. You're going to look at your parents, oh, what does my dad mean? Is he against me? Is he with me? Why is my mom talking to me like this? What does she mention this? Maybe she's against me. This is how our brains work, so we have to be careful. So when you believe in something, you're gonna find it. And this is why in Arabic, they say, in the slang language, they say, اللي بتقرص الحية بخاف من جرة الحبل. Okay? They say, if a person is bitten by a snake, if he sees a rope, he's gonna freak out. Why? Because he's gonna see it as a snake. He's not going to see it as a rope. He's going to see it as snake. So really, when you believe in something, your perception is going to change and you will start seeing it. You will start seeing it. Anyone who studies success and self-help knows this very well. They say, the reason why you can't see success is that you believe you can't do it. You believe it's not there. Once you change your mind and you say about something, it's possible, actually things start to change. I'm going to give you a very radical example. Very radical example. Previously, prior to 1953, it was a fact among physiotherapists and people who studied the human anatomy and sports experts that it was impossible for a human being to run a mile in less than 4 minutes. It was a physical impossibility. This was accepted as a fact for centuries. For centuries. And for centuries, no one ran the mile in less than 4 seconds. Now, one English person, I can't remember his first name, Jim Bannister, what? Bannister, his last name is Bannister, probably Jerry Bannister or something like this. He put his mind, he said, it's possible. It's just possible. He said to him, I'm not going to believe this, so I'm going to do it. It's possible. So what happened, he trained himself, he trained physically with the idea that it's possible, it's in his mind. It's a belief. I believe in June 1952 or 53, he ran 1 mile in less than 4 minutes. Now that's not a surprise. The same year, by the end of the year, there were 13 other people who ran a mile in less than 4 minutes. What happened? Why all of a sudden it was possible? When one person broke that belief physically, all of a sudden other people could do it. When the belief changed, things changed. Actually, I believe Henry Ford said, he who says he can and he who says he can't, they're both usually right. Actually, there's a more profound statement from Ali ibn Abi Talib, radiyallahu anhu. He was asked, كيف كنت تغلب الفرسان? How did you beat these strongest warriors, fighters? And he was still young. He says, أقدر في نفسي أني قاتله. فيقدر في نفسه أني قاتله فيكون عونا لي على نفسه. That's profound. He says, I put an idea in my heart, in my chest, that I'm going to kill him. I'm going to beat him. So with that strength, he feels that from me, so he also feels I'm going to beat him. So he becomes an aid or a helper to me against his own self. That's Ali ibn Abi Talib, radiyallahu anhu. So that shows that we don't see reality as it is. It's biased. Your past experiences, your beliefs, your denials, your expectations, they all form or shape your perception. So when we tell, for example, again, back to the debate issue. So when some